As a kid, we started out with all the tent forts out of the sheets and blankets that your mom would let you take outside. And then as we got older, we wanted to use real hammers and nails. And so then we'd scour the whole neighborhood for scrap wood and then go out in the alleys behind the houses and build a little fort out of those and have our little tiny house out there. My girlfriend that I did that with, when she found out we were doing a tiny house hotel, she was so excited for us. Tucked back here in our nice woodsy corner of our space is the Gypsy Wagon. She's now about 9 feet wide, so she's not road legal. We tried something a little new and different underneath her. She actually has like a hay wagon trailer. Typically that's what the Gypsy Wagons were built on, just a cart. So she's not one that you want to cart around the country with that kind of trailer under it. This being as wide as it is though, you'd need a special permit to go down the road with it. In this one, we don't have a loft. We wanted just to make this nice little cozy cubby here for people to sleep in. The footrest here is actually the step to step up into the cubby for the bed. And if I have somebody that has a little bit of a mobility problem, doesn't want to climb the tiny house kind of steps, this is one that I recommend for them to rent.
Oh my God, are those all tiny houses? They all have their own personalities. So cool. That one's barn. Beach. That's a Gypsy Wagon. That one's
bamboo, I think.
And that one's a log cabin. And that one, I don't know.
She calls it the modern. Do you know which one we have?
Which one?
You guys want to get? Which one would you like to stay in?
I would like to stay in the beach one. Yeah.
You do?
Which one are we staying? Really? This is such a cool place.
When we started talking about doing a tiny house hotel, we want to do themes to each one of the houses. This house here is the bamboo house. The almost black wood here was to mimic the siding that they do in Japan. They actually take a torch before the siding is on a house, and they actually torch the siding and char the siding, so then it's insect-proof and fireproof. And this is real bamboo. It's actually bamboo fencing. If you got up close, you can see the ridges of the metal in there holding it all together. This one is the log cabin. My husband has always wanted a log cabin in his life. This was his to design. It's really cozy inside. The interior is all cedar, all the walls, the ceiling, everything. In the summer, this house stays cooler because the log siding is a couple inches thick in the middle, and in the winter it stays warmer. This house is the modern house. It's real fun inside. It's got a plexiglass loft. The seating area is up above, and the bed is down underneath the loft. They're all on wheels, and that's what, is required here in our commercial space by the city, that they're all on wheels. We're actually zoned as an RV park. This was an old parking lot. This was here with a lot of old RVs, old school bus was in here, old cars, and looking like it needed something new and fresh in it. And so we approached the owners about it, and they were very excited about it. The city required it to be fenced, and they also required it to be totally blacktopped or cement, like a parking lot. Why? I don't know, but they did. You can kind of see here one of the trunks of the water and sewer and electric that is all underground. It came up in a big T, goes out behind the log cabin in the bamboo house. It's just set up exactly like an RV park is, really. If you look at the hookups, we have the electric boxes here, just like at an RV park. Your water hoses, the RV water hoses, and then this is the sewer pipe. In an RV park, people have kind of an accordion kind of pipe, but we're staying in this spot for a while, so we put the black pipe. Solid hookup on each house. That was a big investment in the property. So, but we have a pretty good long-term lease. We're going to go into the barn next here. We're very proud of this Dutch door here. My husband and son are our builders. Has a little catch here, just like, you know, the horsies in the stables could come out and hang their head out the door and get a breeze. This is 16 foot long. All our houses are 16 foot long, 8.5 foot wide to be road legal, and 13.6 tall. And that's so that you can go down the road. If you look at the walls, there's the really cool wainscoting here is actually over 100-year-old barnwood that was reclaimed from eastern Oregon. We cleaned it all up and just clear coated all 4 sides of it. The stairs, they are edged with the 100-year-old barnwood. They're just made of various different shapes and sizes. You'll notice down here, this one is a pet friendly, so we have this little pull-out water and food tray for the dogs that come to visit.
That's great.
You'll have to note the old antique stanchion that we use for a handrail is really solid in there. So the loft bed is up here, queen size bed. This loft was made specifically for a queen size bed, so there's not a whole lot of inches to spare.
The ceiling is curved around you.
Yes, this is a gambrel roof ceiling. If you're building a tiny house and really want the most out of your space, this house feels the roomiest out of all of our houses because of this roof line. The bamboo house is a shed roof and our office is a shed roof too. Those are probably the easiest roofs to make. This is a little more complicated. As a tiny house to live in, of course, you'd make it probably longer than this, and then you could eke out a lot more storage. This looks like it's a piece of art on the wall, but really it's a functional table. So I have a hook and eye at the top, then you grab the little handle down here at the bottom and you pull it down and it's your kitchen table and workspace. And then we couldn't figure out how are we going to make this safe so the legs don't collapse or somebody doesn't kick it. So we put little magnets on the bottom of here that fits right in these little pieces on the floor, and the magnet just kind of sits right down in there. And so then you got another piece of artwork behind it, so then your wall isn't bare.
Is it sturdy without?
Yeah.
The legs don't look
yeah.
like they're thin, right? It's just
Yeah.
a piece of.
Yeah, they're just a little 3/4 inch piece of wood made in a frame. Grab my hook and eye, and it's got little magnets on the back of here too.
Oh, wow.
I'm giving all the trade secrets away here. We spent months trying to figure this table out, but it has a piano hinge back in here, so that's what holds the table, and then there's pieces of piano hinge up here on the top of the frame. So when somebody comes in, they just think it's a piece of art. Another custom door that we did was the bathroom door out of the recycled crates, the pallets. We'd stained all these the different colors, and it's a slider, so we can conserve space. It's got a tiny wheel on the bottom, and it rolls really nicely.
It does, even with a small wheel that doesn't look that sturdy.
Yeah. In the bathroom, this is the old gin barrel and a hammered copper sink.
Does the water go?
Oh yeah, it's like an old pump. You just lift it up, you know. In the old days you'd have to pump, but you know, here we're on city water, city sewer, everything. No composting toilets here at Tiny Digs either. We're right in the heart of Portland, and so we wanted to make everything easy peasy for our guests. The shower is really cute.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty big.
And what is
Yeah.
that around you?
And this is galvanized metal. It works really well for the shower. It was really easy to bend and form around the corners of the wall. And then my husband and son cut a thin piece of wood and we wet it all down so that we could curve it around here. You can't miss the old ball mason jars. The kitchen, the old-fashioned barn sink. You'd not see this in too many tiny houses because it takes up a lot of room. We have mini fridges in each one of our kitchens. The couch here, it's a little IKEA hack. This was actually, I think, a little bookcase or something from IKEA. We turned it on its side, got some cushions and a little bit of wood that we put with the cushions, and made a little couch out of it.
Oh, that's great. So you lived in your own tiny space for a long time, right?
Yeah, still am. We left Michigan in 2008. We sold all of our belongings and hit the road in an RV for 7 years, traveled the United States. And then the tiny house movement started taking hold and getting more steam under it. And I kept thinking, okay, what can we do to get in the tiny house movement? This one here is the bamboo house. This is a cute little gutter my husband came up with. In Thailand when we were there, they cut the bamboo in half, and then that's the gutter on the houses. It's readily available and very, very strong. And immediately you'll see the Tanzu steps here. In Japan, people are living in very, very small spaces. So every space has to be a storage space and not just a functional step. Ours isn't so much a furniture because we had to nail it all together, but in Japan, like this section here would come right off and you could move it and take it to your next house. And then these would be maybe some individual boxes so that they're splittable so you can take them. But we built ours and screwed them all together so that they would be safe and secure. Our son, Kevin, he came up with the idea for the railing and the banister, and the blocks of wood are put on with timber lock screws, and it's very secure. These are very, very strong. And then we have the nice chimes. A little bit of a privacy screen.
And again, the bed, it's all bed up here. Why waste space, right?
Right, right. Yeah. And the ceiling, my husband and son took big chunks of bamboo and split them down the middle. And so those are half pieces of bamboo that are just screwed up. And then on the walls and the backs of the stairs here is this grass cloth out of some bamboo fibers too. This little table, if you want to sit down and have a cup of tea in the morning in the bamboo house or do some work at night on your computer, this is a totally fold up. This little chair is in here that matches that chair. They're both foldable, and so you can pull the chair out and sit down to do your work and have your cup of tea. And it's all out of bamboo too. The countertop is bamboo. I love bamboo. The flooring in here is bamboo too, but it's just a dark bamboo. So again, we have the small mini fridge, and then this one has actually the induction heat plate, and then into the rest of the kitchen here. I saw some sinks where the countertop was the glass. I said, oh, I've got to have that. Oh, there they go. I really had a good time with this. We have a little bathroom here and a full stall shower. In case you're kind of a stoutly guy and need more room in the bathroom, that can go down. But once we got in here and said, well, where are the ladies going to put their makeup on? So we needed a little fold up. I wanted the foldable panels. And I thought, well, how can I put one of those in a tiny house? It's way too small to have a 3-panel foldable screen. And these are very delicate, like a rice paper in these, and people can poke their finger through it and stuff. So we put plexiglass. I kind of came up with this idea. There's a little metal track behind this valance, and it glides very nicely. And there's no wheels on the bottom of this one, and you just have this little contraption over here to keep it on track and in line. They'll totally support practically any size door. So it's kind of a floating bottom. IKEA has a king-size couch. We didn't have enough room for that. So I went to IKEA and took a lot of pictures and brought it back to my guys. We've had enough camping trailers that this was like, oh yeah, that's kind of like how we had in this or that camper, you know? The thing with tiny houses, you have to be real flexible when you're building them, because you might have a cool idea, but then down the road when you get to the actual building part and you go, oh, I ran out of those precious inches. So the beach house was a lot of fun. I got to design this one and decorate this one. I come from the shores of Lake Michigan, so the beach is near and dear to me. This one has another space-saving sliding door. Little wheels still on the bottom. Those are actually little fish. It's just on the galvanized piping that we spray painted black. That's what the door slides on. Here's that second glass countertop. Down underneath here we have shells and sand in there. We try to bring in some old and new in the houses, and this here is an old deck prism. Deck prisms were used on sailing ships long ago before electricity was popular in the boats. When the sun is coming from the south here, it just lights up this bathroom and you don't even need a light on. So we knew with not having a full window in here, we needed some light. So we found one of these at a boat salvage place here in Portland. Another little space-saving thing on boats are these little fold-up towel racks. And we used, I forget what these are called, it's where you tie your line off on the boat. Now it's our towel holder. Back in the 1950s and 60s, you saw a lot of old apartments in the United States that had these all one-piece metal kitchens. This company, Avante, has brought those back, but they were very popular in apartment complexes back in the 50s and the 60s. And it's very reasonably priced because the refrigerator was included, the faucets included, you got your double burners and your sink, and this space-saving table. Actually, this tiny house is set up to have 3 or 4 people in it if you want to squish together. So the couch is what they call a click-clack couch nowadays. You just pull the couch forward and that area drops back down and then a couple more people can sleep on that. This is our only house that we have the ladder stairs in. So a lot of people have gone away from ladders and going more towards the stairs, but it just seemed to fit. This is an old paddle. So one day I was driving along and I said, "Stop the car. There's an oar. There's something we can do with that in the beach house." And so we sanded it all up, cut it down a little bit, and my son did this nice lashing on here. This is kind of a hiding space. In a tiny house, it's like, where do you put your breaker box? And there's the breaker box. We have blackberries that are ripe back here. Come on back. Wow. One of the things that I really loved about RVing was meeting people on the road from all over the world. So, yeah.
Great.
Well, it's good. And so when we started thinking about doing a hotel, that's one of the things that really tweaked our interest. So we put the houses kind of in a circle, and so that people could come out into the courtyard, and so they get to know each other too as travelers. And then at night you see them sitting out here around the campfire.
Cooking my little feet. Cook my hand.
We fall under a whole different guidelines than somebody living in a tiny house. Now we're a commercially zoned property. We are strictly a hotel. We can't have anyone stay here longer than 30 days. But I'm a baby boomer, and I hear a lot of especially my women friends, that they might still be single, maybe widowed. They're looking for a community. They want their own little space. They don't want to be in a nursing home or a retirement village where it feels kind of old, where you could have a little community like this and have young people with children in them, in a larger tiny, in the wisdom of the older folks. In Portland, the young people have been priced out of buying a beginner's home. Our houses here start at $300,000 and $400,000, and for somebody just starting out, that means they have to have $80,000 saved up to get into the housing market. People come and stay here that are thinking about going tiny in their life.
That's great.
So we want to be able to show them how it feels inside, so when they go home to build their own tiny house, they have an idea of what they want more.
This is where we had dinner. I think it's so cute. It's like really intimate.
Tell me about why you guys decided to check this place out.
Because we love tiny, like everything. And then we were like, we want one, but we need to see what it's like to live in one.
Did you fit okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for a person my size, it's perfect.
But like living full time.
Living full time for 2 people,
I think
get
I
a little
struggle.
cramped. Maybe one person is probably fine.
This is smaller than what we wanted, so now that we know what bigger is like, I think we can do it. Even with a baby, I think you can do it.
It's like maybe 2 of these put together.
We all want a little tiny cozy space in life, you know, where you feel safe and protected, and it's your creation.
So, is the idea that this is temporary?
Well, they're temporary in their space because actually we're going to have 6 more in this circle when we're all done. We just moved the Gypsy. It was kind of where the chairs and the hammock are to make room for our Arthur. The Arthur tiny house is shaped in a caboose. It's named the Arthur after my grandfather, who was a big railroader. We don't have enough houses for all the themes we came up with. And we've actually even had people that in the neighborhood that have come by. One lady got so excited, I gave her a tour one day, and she got so excited. She went home and she came back to me with a list of 25 different themes she thought we should do here.